Okay, here's the third video for the Fokker TriPlane. First one was disassembled it, and the next one was rotating the cylinder on the product engine, new engine. And the third video, we'll be putting it all back together. I'll show you how these dogfighters go back together. So this needle valve doesn't fit through the hole in the fuselage. Usually they had a metal needle valve like this needle valve, but they had like a plastic like needle valve cover that slid down over. I don't have that part, that's long gone. Whoever had this before had a custom needle valve with I guess flexible. They were worried about crash damage or something, a custom design. It's not bad. It actually got it to come out, so you know, maybe it's something I'll reuse in the future. But anyway, I just pull this needle valve out of the engine real quick. It's just kind of a step, and you see the parts for the Cox airplanes, you know, with the product engines, are all have moldings inside to capture the engine when things are screwed or rubber banded or whatever, however they put things together. So see the product engine just goes right in there like that. And I'm just going to put the needle valve back in so it doesn't get dirty. And so that's that. The fuel tank goes in the bottom, and it has like a little notch here to index it, and you know, it would make sense. I mean, logically, you know, you want this fuel nipple to be what would be the, you know, outside of the circle in the back, so centrifugal force is going to shove the fuel to that corner of the tank. You know, so even if you didn't have a notch, you know, logically you would say, well, you know, you don't want it here because it's going to starve the engine of fuel. But they do notch it so you don't lose your way in reassembly. And so here's the fuselage, and you can see it's also got moldings in the bottom here to hold the product engine, and reinforcements and screw holes, and this little tab is all that holds the fuel tank in place. Just everything just fits loosely together. It's pretty well engineered. I think we want to make sure that the wing is inside. These two little tabs hold the fuselage, I'm guessing, spread apart. And then the engine assembly, little tab in the back, and then let's see, a little flexing here to get everything lined up. What's going wrong? I guess I should have tried this before I started the video. Oh, there we go. Okay, the wing was in the way a little bit. That's fine. Alright, so there you go. It's together, basically. And that's the way it would fit. Guns are in place. I did manage to take them loose to get a piece of fuel tubing. I guess whoever had this before had a piece of fuel tubing to make it easier to fuel, but that was all rotted and disgusting, so I had to clean that off. I'm trying to get it back to as close as stock as I can. I need to clean up this safety wire on here. So maybe I should have started that before. Anyway, so all that happens now is you put these screws in to hold it together, which also functions to hold on the landing gear. So I get those started. Really, if you're not doing a video and talking to somebody about what you're doing, it only takes a few minutes to take these things apart and clean them and put them back together, which I guess is a good thing, because if you're going to fly them, you're going to probably want to take them apart and clean them. And I guess, you know, the plastic parts you can just wash in dish soap, you know, wherever. You know, I haven't tried to wash one of these in the kitchen sink yet. I don't know what kind of heart attack that would give my wife, but we'll find out at some point. I'm sure I'll have a designated space in the apartment where I'm allowed to do stuff like that. So I did get a new landing gear off eBay, a new old stock. It was a little bit of a saga getting this because it got lost in the mail and then back and forth. But eventually it showed up. A little faded. I wiped it down with the baby wipe. Looks like the plastic's a little faded. I don't know, there's some stuff under the tires. I guess maybe the O-ring tires were wrapped in paper or something at one point during the manufacturing. But, you know, they're good. They're not rusty. It looks like originally when Cox manufactured these, they kind of have a coating on the landing gear. I think that, you know, wears off and they start to rust. I was looking at the old ones. I couldn't figure out why the old landing gears wouldn't rotate, and looking closer now I understand why. Apparently when the guy was doing the decorations on this Fokker with the yellow and the green, he spray painted these landing gear with probably like model paint, which, you know, attacked the plastic, and so you can see the paint residue on the strut on the wire here. So yeah, I mean, it looks like he tried to mask it off here, but you know, the spray paint got inside the wheel and kind of wrecked it. So I'm not going to let anything go to waste. I'll probably just cut these wheels off the wire, and I will, you know, run a tiny drill through there to clean out the hub, and eventually these will go on to another project of some kind. I'm not going to, they're still good wheels. It just they're not good wheels on this piece of wire now because of the spray paint residue. But anyway, per the instruction manual, you just snap the landing gear into this little indentation, the landing gear shaped indentation in the bottom, and then the screws that hold the fuselage together also capture the landing gear. You don't have to go crazy, don't strip it out, just, you know, snug it down is fine. I guess if you really mess up your landing, it's designed to give way a little bit. Everything on a Cox model is designed to give way a little bit in case of a crash. I don't know if it's probably be more successful on these Dogfighter series because this plastic is rather flexible. It's more like a I think they call it cyclolac plastic instead of the brittle plastic of the earlier Mustangs and PT-19 Flight Trainer and the little stinker pits. I mean, that stuff, boy, if you go into the pavement with that stuff, it pretty much shatters, or chips, or all the mounting tabs and rubber band tabs break off, and you're back to square one, or buying replacement parts, which may have been what they were trying to, buy replacement parts every time you crash. It's one way to stay in business, and they did for a long time. So, you can't say it's a horrible idea. So, yeah, this strut is it's pretty much cleaned up. There's a piece of wire hanging in there. I guess the little L-shaped tab broke off, so he went at it with safety wire to hold it all together, which is sharp. And so yeah, I have another concept. Got some holes drilled in there. It's the outside strut, so that could be a problem. Oh, there's the safety wires out of there now. Yeah, it looks like he glued the tab in there. Yeah, so instead of just ordering a new strut, whoever had this before just, I don't know, looks like he went at it with a soldering iron to melt it together and put safety wire in there to hold it together, which is, you know, okay, I guess. I have another idea. I'm just going to put a rubber band on it to hold the wing down and call it good. Because I guess having this flapping around on the in flight would not be great. Probably would tend to rotate the plane into the circle, which is not what we want. So I'll just put a rubber band around it and hold it down, and should be probably add some tip weight to the plane, quarter or something taped on the wing, which is an old trick to get line tension. So anyway, this you see the tabs here. Everything looks pretty good. Some residue there. So I just flip it over and show you how these go. You can't really see because of the light, but let's just snap in and sort of snap in. They just kind of hook in. And then the strut pops in out here. You can see that. Doesn't really snap, it just kind of slides in. And then we got the broken one out here. I'm just gonna put a rubber band around it, hold it. Looks like it'll hold it in place. And I'm gonna call it good. So there's a dog. Oh well, let's put the prop on. So the new engine came with a longer screw, and there's a shorter screw, and this weight. There's a new prop, and the new engine also came with this washer. This is not going to fit, obviously. So, and I don't want to, you know, have the prop not tight. So. Yeah, it's pretty close, but I'm going to use the old screw. You know, whenever you're doing a restoration, you want to use as many of the old parts as possible, right? So, put the screw in. You know, I definitely think this is a flyer. The condition it's in is not going to be a, you know, somebody might want to keep it in their collection, but I'm going to just fly it. Maybe it'll survive and still be in a collection. So yeah, this weight goes in behind the propeller, gives you a little bit of thread there, and that's supposedly to make it a little more stable when you're learning to fly, which, you know, even though I've done RC airplanes and RC cars and stuff like that, I never really successfully flew a control line airplane before, so I guess I'm still a novice at this. So that's interesting. Let's see if it'll tighten up. Here we go. And, I guess that's good. I mean, let's see. I guess you want to kind of set it up theoretically so when the prop stops, it's going to stop in horizontal position. I don't know if it'll work, but there you go. There's a reassembled Cox Early Bird / Dogfighter Fokker TriPlane off of eBay. And, you know, more like its original self with the red landing gear, a new engine. And you know, it's got all the parts. They're not perfect, but it does have all the parts. And it looks like it's not too warped. I've seen a lot of these on eBay that are, you know, all warped, like they were underneath a sack of potatoes or something in storage, and they're all. So I wonder if they'd even fly straight because of all the warpage. But this one looks pretty good. A little bit of droop in the wing, but I think it'll be fine. And you know, depending on the other two, if they run, I guess the next step will be to try to take these out into the park and try to just run them to see if they'll run. Because I don't want to trape all over. I have a place I want to try to go fly at. It looks fairly secluded and smooth, but I don't want to drag everything over there if they're not going to run. So I'll probably take them outside and try to run them, take videos of that, and then we'll be maybe add some lead outs. I got some plans to add some lead outs to the control horns. And wow, okay, the lead outs go through here. Okay. Huh, that's weird. They only have like one lead out. Wow, hole. That's strange. I'll have to look at the instructions or try to figure out how that works. Both lines go out the same lead out. Huh. That is interesting. Maybe I'll have to add. I'll try to add another lead out hole or something. Just make some modification. That doesn't seem pretty good to me. I hadn't noticed that before. Interesting. So yeah, add some wire lead outs, and I have to build my flying lines, which I got from Brodak, and figure out which control handle I'm going to use. All right, so next time.